welcome back to the OffBeat Sports podcast brought to you by make sure you go visit the OffBeat Sports Instagram and the new website, offbeatsports.net. I'm glad to be back. I want to thank Cross for keeping up with the episodes while I've been gone.
A little bit of a
Welcome
hiatus.
back, boys. Welcome back, boys.
Hiatus here, and Nick's been gone since I don't know how long. I don't know when the last time. I don't know when the last time that was, but yeah. Thanks, Cross, for keeping my seat warm.
We got this shit going. All right.
So,
we're talking
the Patriots quarterback,
Patriots
right?
QB, right?
So, who do you want to start with?
I mean,
hot topic. I mean, probably.
I think we start at like basically lower names and then get into like the higher options.
All right, so Stidham's first.
Yes, we'll start with Stidham. I don't think there's a very good chance of Stidham starting next year. I think he'll probably stay as like a backup. I don't see him starting. Like I just think we're probably going to make a move this offseason and sign someone or trade for someone. So I don't see Stidham coming back I see him coming back. I don't see him starting.
The thing with me with Stidham is I feel like every piece of confidence that Stidham might have had, I feel like they broke that as soon as they brought in Cam, because there was so much hype around Stidham that off season and the off season before with the whole like he's the best quarterback we've ever seen in camp. Like there was all these reports about how Stidham was going to be like a god, and we bought into it too. Like we did episodes where we talked about Stidham, and like I don't know if all of us bought into it, but we at least kind of went with sort of the hype that was going on, and then all of it was just taken off the board, and it was Stidham's not ready. Stidham's not the quarterback. And then you saw Cam just perform so bad, and they still didn't give Stidham the time of day, even late in the season. You would think that the last couple of games, they might start him just because to give him the experience, but they didn't even do that. They didn't give him the time of day at that point. So I think
hold on. So my thing is, I think they should have started Stidham the last couple of games, but I understand wwhy they stuck with Cam because
it's a respect thing.
It was a respect thing for him. I think that a lot of the Patriots way is built on like respect and discipline and stuff. So they're not just going to pull a guy especially when there's no chance of maybe improving. So
me and Nick had talked about this a few times because I kept saying throughout the season, like if you started Jarrett from week one, I think they would have had a better record than they ended up with when they had Cam. And
I disagree with that though.
Nick disagreed with me when we talked about it originally. And like I still kind of feel that way only because I feel like he can do more right now. Like I think he can throw the ball better.
No, I don't think he's started off the season good.
But the thing is, I don't think that the rest of the team believes in him. So it's tough.
Cam started off the season good, and if you were going to start Stidham, I would have been fine with them giving Stidham a chance. I think they should have once they were eliminated because at least you know what you got from him. But from the games he played, I didn't see anything I liked really. Cam Newton fell apart too towards the end. So
I agree with you. I
definitely don't want Stidham starting week one.
I get why they didn't start Stidham towards the end. I think they should have, but I understand why. I'm not mad about it because I don't we wouldn't have made the playoffs either way. I just think it would have been nice to kind of see what he can do. So see if he's even an option for this year. But now that he didn't even get any time, it's like there's no way he's starting.
It's just tough because it's like he had all this hype and it was all taken away. And then you see Cam come in, and something must have happened in that offseason where last year when he had that weird injury that happened, or when he left for that wedding, I think it was like mid-training camp or somewhere in the offseason workouts, he was gone for a little while.
He got hurt.
Yeah, but he was not gone, not the injury. He left for like a wedding down in like Texas, and there was all these reports about how it was a bad look and he had, caused some rift with Bill Belichick or something like that. And from then on, I feel like he just lost all the respect that he had. And I feel it's weird. As much as I was talking about how I think the Pats might have been better with him, I don't think anybody on the team believed in him. So I don't think it would have turned out exactly the way I thought, looking back on it, because at least the guys, tried with Cam on the field. I just don't know if they would have done that for Stidham because he hadn't proven anything. So, and I think it'd be the same thing going forward because he hasn't proven anything. So if he was just to step in, I don't think he's not going to be able to elevate the talent around him if he can't even start on a team that's quarterbacked by whatever the Cam Newton was last year. If he can't see the field on a team like that, then I can't see him elevating talent around him.
what they should have done is they should have started him at Chiefs game. But I mean, I don't know why they started Hoyer.
Brian Hoyer was bad.
He was pretty bad. We win that game if anyone else was starting.
He was great until he got in the red zone. That was the thing. Brian Hoyer kept driving up. He kept driving. Okay. It was the best passing offense the Pats had for most of that season at that point. He was just driving.
Well, yeah, but
then he get into the red zone and he just blow it. He kept blowing it in the red zone. But the Patriots had no, red zone like heavy targets, so it's not really something. And Brian Hoyer's no great QB, so but it's too much time for Jared.
Yeah, anyway. We can move. We can go to the next guy. I mean, Ryan Fitzpatrick. I know Voci, you're high
too low for Fitzy.
No, I'm just going. It is the name that popped in my head. I
show me your Fitz.
So I know you're high on him. I mean, I don't know what Nick thinks, but like, I don't think he's a good option because I think we can get like a younger bridge QB. That might work for because if we're gonna get a bridge QB, I think it should be for a few years until we can really figure out a situation. And I don't think that Fitzpatrick is a few years guy. I think he's a 1 year guy.
So here's the thing: just as a bridge QB.
Well, I mean, I'll get to this, but I think Jimmy G is probably our most reliable option, and I'll explain later when we go over who we want, who we think is going to happen. But with Fitzpatrick, I just think he's always been like pretty good, but he's not going to there's no point in having him when we could develop somebody else.
Well, my thing with Fitzpatrick is that's the whole point of why you get him. I think that's why Miami was smart with what they did. They brought in. Well,
actually, I actually don't think Miami was smart with that because I think they screwed with freaking Tua's brain because Tua would play like a whole game and then get fucking pulled in like the last.
No, not that part. They messed that up. Like later in the season, as things went on, they messed it up. But the original idea that I think they should have ran with, which they started to, was good. And then they brought in. He was on the Dolphins for a little bit. I think he's on like the Tampa Bay practice squad now. He's a quarterback who was drafted in 2017 or 18. I forget his name, but he was like top 10. They brought in a guy that had needed a career revival and who was competing to stay in the league. They had a solid veteran like Fitzpatrick who could also be
Josh Rosen?
Josh Rosen.
He was Cardinals. He got drafted by the Cardinals.
Yeah, I know, but Miami had him at the beginning of the season. This is what I'm talking about with the Patriots. So Ryan Fitzpatrick was a great leader sort of for Tua. He kind of was a mentor for him. You could see it all season. Like he was happy for him all the different times of the season when he got to play, even despite him not playing. He showed his frustration, but I think
he was not happy for him when he first got benched.
Yeah, he was actually he was pretty outspoken.
I know he was. I know he was mad, but I think it was good to see him put it aside and be supportive of him. Which I think is something that's hard for.
Well, what else is he gonna do? He'll ruin his career if he does anything else.
He could have asked out. I mean, it's not. I'm just saying. I like what he brings to their team. I like what he would bring to the Patriots because say the Patriots get Fitzpatrick, you draft a young quarterback in the draft. I don't know who exactly it would be. Maybe someone late in the first round at wherever that 15 their pick, or if they were to trade down and take somebody, or if they take someone in the second round. It doesn't really matter. I think if you had Fitzpatrick, you had Stidham, and you had a rookie, I think that'd be a great a great quarterback room because you have competition throughout all three because the talent level between the three is not going to be significantly different since, Fitzpatrick's nothing special. You have a rookie who could have talent, but he's going to be on and off. And then Stidham has shown flashes, and we've heard about flashes, but he's never really proven anything. So I think it'd be a good way to keep competition. So that's the main reason I want Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, I'm actually with you on this, Voci. I wouldn't mind Fitzpatrick with a rookie and Stidham in the quarterback room. The only problem is I don't really see what rookie they would get that he would be the bridge to, because outside of Fields, Lawrence, and that one other guy,
the North Dakota guy.
Yeah, the North Dakota. Yeah, whatever that guy's name is. Outside of those three, I don't really think there's a quarterback that I would want because honestly, I'm not a believer in Mac Jones, and I'll get to that later. But I wouldn't mind the Fitzpatrick signing.
So I'm not completely anti Fitzpatrick. I think if we're going the rookie route, then he'd be a solid option, like for like just kind of being there. But like I don't think we should go like 100% the rookie route. I think if we're gonna draft a rookie, he should like it shouldn't be like we're mentoring him because I like Nick said I don't think
Well, I
anyone we
just
can
don't
get in this
think.
draft is going to be reliable enough for the future.
Well, I just don't think that it's kind of hard to tell what a quarterback's going to be coming out of college because they said that a lot. Like you say it, I'm not using this as an example to compare anyone, but Tom Brady, for example, he was a 6th-round pick. You don't know what any quarterback's going to be when they come out. Dak Prescott went in, I think, the 4th round. Russell Wilson went in the 3rd. Like, there's a lot of quarterbacks that come out late rounds, and they end up being really good quarterbacks, but nobody sees it when they come out originally. Like, you don't see it. You don't see the talent until it's on the field. And I think that's a big thing. And especially, and not even, this is a hard one to say, but Aaron Rodgers, like not everyone believed in Aaron Rodgers for the first couple of years when he was in Green Bay. And even on his first start, there's clips where they talk about, well, this team's going to lose now with Aaron Rodgers. Well, Aaron Rodgers can there's like greatest of all time as far as talent wise talks with Aaron Rodgers now. Like you never know what a quarterback's going to be until they're on the field. And I'm not comparing Aaron Rodgers sitting behind Brett Favre, but obviously probably a better mentor than, Mac Jones sitting behind Ryan Fitzpatrick. It's just the point of you don't know what a quarterback's going to be until they're in your system. And I think if you're going to bring in a guy like a Mac Jones or a pocket passing quarterback who's not that mobile, I'd rather put them with a Josh McDaniels who's dealt with a quarterback like that for so many years with Brady, and also having that with Fitzpatrick. He's not the most mobile guy, so I think it'd be a good system sort of fit with what McDaniels has done for a long time. So
yeah. So we can move on to the next one. I'm trying to think.
Brissett.
Yeah, Brissett. I wouldn't mind bringing him in as a backup because you could get him for like minimum money.
Yeah.
And he could be like just kind of like fighting for the position. I don't think he's like a better option than some of them. Wouldn't hate it. He knows the system. He's worked with both Belichick and McDaniels. He's actually played like in a couple
That's the
games.
step he has on the other guys we've talked about. I think that's the only thing he holds, and that he started 2 whole seasons in his career. Obviously, he's backed up 3 of those seasons, but he's backed up to 2, or he was 3rd string in New England, and then he backed up Jimmy Garoppolo when Brady was suspended. But
and played.
he's backed up some really good quarterbacks. He's been behind Brady, he's been behind Andrew Luck, and he's been behind who the hell just retired? Rivers this year in Indianapolis. So, I mean, he's been behind some really good quarterbacks. He's had some really good guys to learn from. I'm sure that's benefited him. And even in 2019, when he started all the games for the Colts, he had almost 3,000 yards, 18 touchdowns, 6 picks. I'm looking at it right now. And completion percentage is 60%. So it's not the best, but I don't know. I'd take that over Cam Newton is basically what I'm saying. So,
I wouldn't. I know like this is going to be getting some hate, but I mean we can
how
honestly
would you not take that over Cam Newton?
I mean I'm gonna get into this later, but I think Cam Newton's coming back, and I think he'll definitely be better because he had to adjust.
I don't think he's gonna be worse, but yeah.
Well, I think he had to adjust into the Patriots like system.
Get to it later.
And the Patriots had to adjust into him, and I think that he had very minimal weapons that like.
I want to hear Nick's take on Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah, no, I'll wrap it up. But I mean, Cam is just like a hardworking guy, and I think honestly, I think he's coming back, and I think he'll be much better this year with some weapons. So, but I mean, Brissett, I wouldn't hate to have, but I'd honestly rather have Cam.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I like Brissett, but he wouldn't be my first choice. He would just kind of be, if the other options are off the table, I wouldn't mind bringing that guy in because he's performed at times, and I think that judging by not even with the Colts, judging by like his one game with the Patriots, he worked well under McDaniels.
This is the thing. I think Jacoby Brissett in New England would be exactly what he was in Indianapolis. You don't really have a plan yet. You're waiting for your guy to come back, or you're waiting to hit a market guy in free agency. Like they were waiting for Andrew Luck to come back from injury, or waiting for your rookie to develop sort of deal, or you're waiting to get that guy in free agency next year who comes available that you think you have a really good chance on.
Yeah.
Jacoby Brissett was that guy in both of the situations where he started for the Colts. So I think that's something that would fit New England, because I think that he understands his role, which is good, because I feel like he's had that role before, so I think it'd be good to have someone who understands and would be sort of a good mentor for someone that's coming up in the league.
I don't think he'd be a mentor, but I mean,
not like a mentor, but you know what I'm saying? He's been in the position of being someone's third string backup to these great quarterbacks and seen how they prepare and stuff like that. I'm not saying that's how he prepares, but at least he has the experience and he's been there. So I think that he offers more. I think all of them obviously offer something, but I just think he's been behind Brady, Andrew Luck, Phillip Rivers. Like that's a good quarterback group to be the backup or the third string behind, and even Garoppolo too.
So yeah, and then but like my thing with I don't know. I don't know if I want somebody who's been a career backup as my starter.
He started 2 full seasons.
Yeah, but
and they went 7-8 in one of them.
He had some pretty good weapons though. He didn't he had Ty, he had Ebron.
Ty's fallen off a cliff, but yeah.
But he fell off a cliff now. He wasn't he was good back then when he was starting. I mean, he was still good.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I want that.
Next one. Mariota
Mariota. We'll go Mariota. Mariota, I've seen a lot of the odds are he's gonna be our starting QB and Patriots are interested. I don't like that one. I mean, I just feel like
you don't want a quarterback that can pass to himself.
I just don't think
you were watching that game live.
Yeah. I just don't I feel like he's just why would you do that? There's no huge benefit to his game that he's gonna have an effect on this team. He's not. I don't see him as a great leader. I don't see him as a great QB. So what the hell is the point?
I just think he's a not well-rounded, but he just he doesn't excel at any one thing, but he's not horrible at any one thing. He's just okay. He's all right. He's above average, which is good because he can be mobile. He can move in the pocket. He can create time. He can extend the play, which I like. And I think that's something that I think McDaniels liked having with Cam, but it didn't really work out the way he wanted to, I think. And I mean, he's not the worst passer. He's not the most accurate guy. He's not going to always make the best decisions. But in 2016, he was a starter. He was a starter in Tennessee for 4 or 5 years there, from his rookie year to 2019. Then Ryan Tannehill took over. Obviously,
was it 4 years?
5, and then he lost his starting spot halfway through his 5th year. But in the 4 years that he started, he had over 3,000 yards twice. He had almost 3,500 yards in his sophomore season, and he had his best season. He had 26 touchdowns and 9 interceptions, and I don't know. I mean, he led them to the playoffs, I think maybe once or twice, and he had 5 playoff games so far in his career. So that means he went to the playoffs at least 2 or 3 times in Tennessee. So I mean, I don't mind having him because I just think that he's sort of well-rounded. I like what he brings to as far as mobility, and he's played under. I know it was only 1 season or maybe 2 with Vrabel, but he's played under a coach that was once a Patriot, and I think that has sort of an impact on a player. Yeah. And he comes under the Belichick sort of coaching tree type of deal because it's just a player that was under Bill. So I think that would benefit him too coming here.
Yeah, I honestly wouldn't mind Mario. You can probably get him for a late round pick, a 6th or 7th. That's what I've seen. But he showed promise last year when he filled in for Carr.
That 1 game or whatever.
Yeah, and even though he underperformed for the first few years of his career, he was still solid. People just don't realize it because he had such high expectations.
And yeah, he was the number 2 pick.
Yeah, coming out of Oregon, everyone was like, "Oh,
well, because him and Jameis played in the national championship game, I believe." Or no, I don't know if it was national. Or it was Jameis and then him played in the Rose Bowl, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. But I don't know. I'm not super high on him. I mean, I do understand why some people might be interested. I'm not falling for the hype right now.
And one other thing I had to say about him is if you're gonna sign Mariota, it could be, but I don't think it's gonna be much different from Cam Newton. So if you're gonna get a guy like that, you might as well just go back to Cam.
That's what I think.
I think there's a chance he could be an improvement from Cam, but
I think he's a much, much, much better as far as a well-rounded quarterback
Okay,
right
shut
now.
up. Okay, I'm done. Okay, when we signed Cam, all of you
We
were
were excited.
you
Yes,
guys were
I
like,
can agree.
"Oh, he's gonna be the next big thing," and
Yeah.
I remember we were at Dupiel's house. I remember I was the only one who was like,
I remember
"I
because I
don't
wanted to
know."
kick your head in.
I was like, "I don't know. I don't see it." And then all of you are just like hyping up these other, or now you're hyping up this other guy who's basically the exact
I just
not the
said
exact same, but
They're
like
not at
I
all the
just said
same.
that.
yeah, like why are we falling for the hype again?
Because
Like
we're not falling for any hype. We're going off of what we saw this season from him when he filled in and what we've seen from him in the past.
we saw Cam as an MVP.
Yeah, okay, and we went off of that, and then he sucked.
Yeah, so what does
I'm
that
not
mean for
telling you that
Mariota?
Mariota is a guarantee that he's going to be good. I'm just telling you if he was to come in and produce it anywhere near the level that he produced when he was in Tennessee, even in his worst years, he's still better than Cam was this year, and it's not even close.
Yeah, but Cam's going to be a lot better than last year. Cam was on fire until he got COVID.
So like 2 games. I mean, like 2 or 3 games.
3 games, yeah.
Yeah,
But I
but
mean,
that
And the Patriots were looking like a playoff team, like a top 5 NFL team in those 3 games.
I would say yes, but I don't think Cam's the quarterback of this team. I hope not.
So all right, so let's bring this into Cam.
Right.
I think Cam is going to happen.
So
And
we're
I think
talking
it's
about Cam now?
Yeah, I think it's inevitable, and I honestly think like Cam is going to be our keeper. Like I don't see like everything I'm seeing is pointing like towards like they're going to just go right back to Cam, give him another shot at it. Like now that he's comfortable in our system, he's got to work with McDaniels and Belichick. He was a great leader. Everyone loved him. We got our defense coming back because a lot of them opted out. So our defense is going to be good. We're going to be able to sign some options for him to throw to. And I honestly see Cam coming back. I don't necessarily know if I like it. I see him coming back though, and I'm not necessarily I don't hate it, like because I think he might be like he'll be able to do better than last year, and I think we might be able to slip into a wild card.
I mean, I don't think he could do worse than he did. I would hope not. I mean, he threw more picks than he did touchdowns, and I mean, he just didn't look comfortable at all at any point. I felt like he didn't look comfortable. Even in the games he did well, I just felt like he just didn't look right.
Well, because it's a new system. The Patriots also had to adjust
He
it.
had to learn the system over Zoo.
Yeah, and he didn't get any OTAs.
I understand. Oh, I get that. I give that the benefit of the doubt. I'm not like taking away the fact that it was a really weird offseason. He was signed late, which it's stupid for. I think if Belichick knew for a while that he was going to go with the last guy standing and he liked what he saw in Cam in sort of a way, I don't know why he didn't just jump on that way earlier.
Okay, well, if he knew he was going to sign him eventually, he would have signed him before. He clearly didn't know if he was going to sign him. That's why they didn't.
I'm just saying because it
was also no harm, no foul. They signed him for cheap. Like it wasn't like it was like it was an experiment, and it was an experiment that didn't hurt them.
It's not like it didn't hurt them. It didn't hurt them financially to bring in Cam, but I think it hurt them with their not their reputation, because I think it made Bill Belichick look like a better guy because he stuck with a quarterback despite the bad play, and he stuck with him through the season.
I don't think it hurts our reputation because we lost the greatest quarterback of all time. Everyone thought we were going to drop off.
You know how many guys have had
didn't really surprise anyone that we dropped off.
Okay, so this is the thing. So many guys teams have lost their great quarterbacks, and they've made transitions to these younger guys, or they've made transitions to a bridge guy or the next guy, and they've had a plan. If you were going to leave,
it was a good bet to be a transition.
First of all, that's not.
I'm just
there actually hasn't been a lot of teams that transitioned very well from
there's a
great quarterback.
There's a reason 31 other teams passed on Cam Newton. Clearly, there was a reason.
You can say that about so many other quarterbacks.
You can say that. You say that now. You say that now. You weren't saying that when they signed him. You're saying the complete opposite. So you can say that now. You can say that. But yeah, you can say that now after everyone's seen him play. Oh, now we know why everyone passed. Yeah, now we know why everyone passed. It's a chance. It's a game of chance. It's not like it's everything pointed to he's going to be a pretty good quarterback. Like for us, he's going to help us. And he did in the beginning, and then he got COVID, and then he was struggling. Which COVID does have an effect on your physical ability. Tatum has shown that. Like you can't just throw yourself back into it. It's not like. You definitely lose something.
I'm not stupid. I'm not an idiot. I get it. I'm just saying, I don't know what you're going to get from Cam this year that you would get unless the Patriots go all out and they bring in Hunter Henry or
I was just going to say that that's a completely different story because
if they bring in a tight end, like a red zone threat, guy that can catch a ball up the middle, if they throw a seam pass, which I feel like Cam could do because it's in the middle of the field. And if you bring in a legitimate slot receiver, because Edelman's breaking down, I don't even know if they're going to bring him back.
There's no way.
Yeah, that's the thing I was going to say about Cam is if they have the same weapons, he will not succeed. Absolutely not. But
yeah, which no quarterback's going to succeed with those weapons.
If Joe Tooney
Brady couldn't succeed with those weapons.
If they don't have a solid offensive line, which I think they will, because I think he could just shift guys.
The offensive line was actually good last year.
I'm just saying,
it's got
Joe Tooney's probably going to leave, and you might not be able to get David Andrews back. You don't know. I mean, he's going to want to resign, but are the Patriots going to bring him back on what he's going to want? Because he's going to be a top tier center, so he's going to make around $10 or $11 million. So it's just the thing. Like, you have a lot of transitions that are going to be made at key positions on your roster this year. On top of it, you didn't really have any linebacker play last year. Your defense was, it was all right, but if you're not going to improve your roster all the way around, then Cam's not going to be any better because
they're going to get the players back that opted out, though.
Yeah, we're getting all our players that opted back. All of them are coming back from what we've heard. And which is good. We're getting those guys back. Our offensive line is still solid. I still think we have one of the best running back rooms in the league.
I don't know about that, but
dude, we literally have an all around. Like, if we can bring James White back, we have an all around running back room.
I don't disagree that we have an all around running back room, but
none of them are like huge names, but they're all good. Like, no, I know. Like that's the Patriot. Like that's like the Patriots way. The running back room is like, it's like everyone, like, you have to have like a full running back room. That's how we win.
And I think even so, you can think about the fact that even with Michelle and Damian Harris and James White, you looked good. Well, Rex Burkhead was like the MVP of the Patriots for the first few games that he played. He was really good. Mm-hmm. And then he, obviously he got hurt, that big injury. So, but I don't disagree that they have a really good running back room. But I still think at the end of the day, Cam Newton, I wouldn't like.
He's not my top option.
I wouldn't freak out if they brought him back because, like, whatever. Then if that means you're not ready to select the next guy, and Bill's like, I see a guy in next year's draft that I want, or if he has a plan, fine. If Cam's just like your emergency thing because you can't figure out what to do.
Well, Belichick's never going to tell us if he has a plan.
I know that, but it's kind of obvious. Like, they clearly didn't really have a specific plan
because nobody thought Brady was going to leave. Like, that wasn't like an expectation. Brady's gone. Like,
Bill had the opportunity to sign Brady, and he offered him a below market contract.
No, he didn't. He actually offered him he offered him the exact same amount of money. We talked about this when it happened. He offered him, and you said the same thing. He offered him the exact same amount of money he signed with the Bucs for. He just left.
I don't know.
They came out.
Other things have come out since we had that conversation, but
it was purely the weapons. It was purely the weapons.
I'm not even going to go back to this, like, to argue with that. I'm just saying
they came out and said it was the money was the same.
If they bring Cam back, they have to bring in other weapons.
I think they have to bring in weapons either way.
And if they're going to bring in Cam, I want them to draft a quarterback. They need a backup option. They cannot bring Cam in to be their starter for 16 games without having some sort of insurance, because Jaron Stone's not your insurance. If you're going to bring in Cam, trade up and draft somebody higher, draft Mac Jones. I don't care. You need to do something. If you're going to bring in Cam, you need to bring in someone behind it. That's the thing.
So
if they did that, then I'd be okay with having Cam back. But if they just bring Cam and they don't make any other moves at the position, then I'd be pissed. So
I think we can go to Jimmy G, and then we'll kind of and then after Jimmy G, we'll talk who we want and who we expect, basically. So I'll start with the Jimmy G. I think very reliable option. I like this pick because he knows the Patriots system like Brissett. Like I said about Brissett, he knows the Patriots system. I actually think he's way better than Brissett. So I think, and
obviously
he has a ton of experience. Like, he went to a Super Bowl by himself. Not by himself. But without the Patriots.
You know how many times he passed in the playoffs?
I'm saying without the Patriots. That's what I meant by himself. There you go. Like, I know. Obviously, like, there was a huge, like, he had a great defense. They had a great running back room. But like that, you can't like take it away. He went to the Super Bowl, and even in the Super Bowl, he played pretty well. And Yeah, until they blew it. But I mean, I like him. I think if 49ers are willing to let him go, Patriots should definitely explore that option. And I think you can probably get him for like a second or third rounder.
The problem, sorry to cut you off.
But yeah, I don't know. I like it.
The only thing with Jimmy G, and I think Bill wants Jimmy G. I just don't think, obviously, he's not going to come out and say that. He doesn't want to seem desperate. But Jimmy G is exactly what Bill wants. He's a guy that he respects Bill because not every guy in the league wants to come play for the Patriots anymore. It's pretty clear. I mean, I don't think everyone's dying to come play in New England. Brady's not here. I think Brady was more of a draw than Belichick. I think it was, I want to go play with Tom Brady. I think there was obviously guys that said, I want to go play for Bill Belichick, but Jimmy Garoppolo is one of those guys. He wants to play under Bill, and he's made that very clear. He still calls him coach. He doesn't, or whatever. Like, it's pretty clear that he has a lot of respect for him, and they talk, and there was all that texting stuff that
sure
people
Brady
make jokes.
calls like Mike Tomlin coach. He doesn't call him Mike. Like,
it's just a point. There was like stuff about it in the past, and I just think that the respect, like the mutual respect between Jimmy and Bill, is part of why I want Jimmy back here, because I think Jimmy would do for Bill what Brady did for Bill earlier in his career, when he just took a back seat and just shut up and just did exactly what Bill wanted him to do, because that's what, I just think that's what Jimmy would do. And but the only thing that scares me with Jimmy is his injury history. He couldn't even make it through the 4 games here. All he had to do was make it through 4 games. He's been injured so many times in his career. I think that's the one thing. Especially
yeah, but he also, I mean, O-line's a big factor in that. The O-line last year for the Niners was kind of like
okay. Explain to me when he got hurt on the Patriots that year.
That O-line was not very good.
I'm just saying.
We had complaints about that O-line all year.
I'm just telling you that as much as you want to complain about an O-line,
I think that's a huge factor in QBs getting hurt. I mean, I think
I do too.
You look at some of the QBs that have constant injuries. Look at their
Russell Wilson's trying to get traded over how many times he gets hit, which I don't even want to get into that. I think he's a moron.
Which makes sense. I mean,
I think he's a moron. I don't know why.
If you're an NFL QB that you want to last a while, would you want to be getting hit every other play?
Where's he going to go? That's a better option than where he is. Nowhere. But the point,
a lot of different places.
I don't think so. But
yeah. So I'll just give my point on Jimmy G. I think he's hands down the best option for the Patriots right now. I think he's best case scenario because he knows the system. He's not too old to the point where you need to draft a quarterback right now. You can still stick with, Stidham and Hoyer and draft a guy down the line or figure it out whenever. But he knows the system. You probably wouldn't have to give up too much to get him, but we'll see. You might have to.
Well, the thing is, I'm scared. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm scared that the Patriots are stupid and that they think, oh, well, nobody's going to want Jimmy. So in that case, if the Patriots are waiting for Jimmy to get cut or released, I think they're stupid.
The 49ers would never cut.
We don't know. Yeah, we don't know what's going on there. But I honestly, if you bring in a guy like Hunter Henry or Allen Robinson, someone like that, and you bring in Jimmy G.
The problem is you have to bring in the quarterback first. Those guys aren't going to want to come here to play.
I'm just saying if you bring in both of them, it doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah.
If you bring in a pass catcher and Jimmy G, the defense stays strong. Patriots are legitimate contenders to make the playoffs, maybe win a game or two. And we'll see what they do in the draft, but they don't have to draft a quarterback yet if they get Jimmy G.
No, I think that's the biggest thing with Jimmy G out of all the quarterbacks is that's the one guy where I can say if you're going to bring in Jimmy G, you don't need to get that guy right away because he's at this point in his career where as much as he's injury prone, which scares me, quarterbacks tend to thrive past 30. Like a lot of quarterbacks last and it's become more relevant. Obviously that's different because he's been injury prone. So you don't know that, but I think he has a lot of experience. And I think the good thing is out of all the quarterbacks you have, I think Jimmy G has the highest ceiling. He's been to a Super Bowl. So if you're ceiling with Jimmy Garoppolo,
had the 3 Super Bowls.
If you're ceiling,
played in 1, but yeah.
No, if you're ceiling with Jimmy Garoppolo is as your starter, if you have a solid team around him, he can get you to a Super Bowl. I think that's your best option. And if you have a guy like that that's available to you, then I think you need to go after that. Even if it wasn't Jimmy Garoppolo, let's say it was Mariota. It doesn't matter. if that guy is available to you and he's at this stage in his career, I think you need to go get him. Regardless of the fact that he's already been in your system, you've seen him play well in your system, and he's on a team that you gifted him to. It's not they don't owe you anything, but I feel like it wouldn't be that hard for the Patriots to get him back. So I think that's why he's their best option.
So I mean, I think we can. I don't want to leave, but like we can kind of wrap it up. But let's each give. We'll each gotta go, but like we'll each give who we want and who we expect to be the starting QB. So I'll go first. Who I want, Jimmy G, most reliable option for me, and I just like how he knows the Patriots system, and he's a solid QB. He's got that like postseason experience. And for who I think it's gonna be, who I just expect in like reality, I'm Cam. I think Cam's coming back. I'm not necessarily opposed to it, but like not necessarily like woo yay, but like I think Cam's coming back, and yeah. So, Voci, you want to go next?
So it's kind of a toss up for me. Obviously, Jimmy G's, he's one for me. Sort of same thing as you said, Cross. He's been in your system. He's shown that he can play. He's shown that he can be successful in the right system, and he's shown that he can win. His record as a starter is very good. So I think that's something you could take into consideration. But my 1A is probably Fitzpatrick for the reasons I said before. And just because I think every year Fitzpatrick's come out and he's started off really hot. That's the whole point of the whole Fitzmagic thing. He comes out and he has great games and he plays like a really good quarterback. So as much as people want to say he's average and stuff, he's had some really good performances in his career throughout the last few seasons. So that's part of that as well. Who do I think is going to be the starter? I think it's probably going to end up being a guy like Mariota because he's just okay. And I think that they would settle for a guy like that, a guy that they can just plug in and is just going to play okay. And it's also just because I hope it's not Cam, because that just shows me that they're not willing to do anything at the position. So, and that just shows me that they didn't see an issue with the way Cam played, which I think is worse.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely say out of those guys, Jimmy G is the best option. And the reason I say that over a guy like Fitzpatrick, who has proved that he can be reliable, is because
if you believe me, I want Garoppolo first. I don't want Fitzpatrick over Garoppolo.
Yeah, no, I don't either. But the reason for that is necessarily the talent, even though I do think Garoppolo is more talented than Fitzpatrick. But it's more because if you get Fitzpatrick, you got to draft a quarterback sooner, and that could mean this year. And if they try to go with the quarterback with the first pick, they try to pick Mac Jones, which could happen because I know Belichick likes saving players. I would not want that because I don't like Alabama quarterbacks. They just have it too easy and they don't really translate well to the NFL. They haven't had a good quarterback out of Alabama in 20 years.
I mean, you can think about, not to stray off the topic of the whole conversation, but you can think about all the talent that he was throwing to this season at Alabama.
They have it too easy. They got
receivers are too. No, but I mean, I agree with you like on that. But like, I obviously he had great. Like,
I still think he had
great weapons. But I was watching the national championship game. You can't ignore like his stats, and he was throwing dots. Like it wasn't like they were making like phenomenal catches on bad throws. Like he was making good throws.
It's easier when your guys are wide open.
Can do that at Alabama because how much time they have in the pocket with that O-line.
Yeah, that's true. But like second half, what's his name? What's the guy's name?
The kid that didn't play in the
the receiver.
Game.
The receiver, he got hurt.
Devonta Smith.
Yeah, he got hurt in the second half. And that the second option, Jalen Waddle, was like literally waddling around the field. Like he was hurt for that game and shouldn't have played that game. Like,
but it's also the offensive line and the running backs and just the offense in general that Alabama has every year. And it shows why their most successful quarterback in the last 20 years is A.J. McCarron. Like they just don't have successful quarterbacks.
I think they can just they're a system where, not to keep going on the whole college thing, but they're a system where you could just pick and plug guys because they have so much talent around them. It's like for example, Kansas City. There's a lot of talent on that team. I know what Mahomes brings to that team, but I would be willing to say that if
Patrick Mahomes is extremely overrated.
No. Nope. not at all. But you could put another top 10 quarterback in the position that Mahomes is in, and I think that team would still be amazing. So if you know what I mean? Like you could put a lot of quarterbacks in that offense at Alabama, and it would still thrive. It's not like any of them are special. But
yeah, he looks like a superstar at Alabama, but I don't think that'll translate to the NFL, and that's
there's
why.
been good reports about him, like of late, but I think that's just because you're getting to the draft. And
I don't think he's a superstar. I'm just saying I think he's actually better than some like the past like QBs that like. But I just think from watching him, his throws were very smooth. He was getting it out of his hand pretty fast. I just think like with the guys hurt, he still was throwing like good passes. He was finding guys. He read the field pretty well. But
if they're gonna draft somebody, I will not be upset. Just whatever. Like I
won't be upset if they draft somebody.
If they draft a quarterback, even if it's Mac Jones, I get Nick's point. Like I totally understand where you're coming from with the whole Alabama thing, as we just talked about. And there have been good reports. You can't read into everything, and you can't believe everything that you're told. But I mean, you got to take a shot somewhere. And if you're going to bring back Cam, which is not what I think is going to happen, but if say they do and they take a shot on him, I'd be so much happier than if they just brought back Cam. Like if they're going to bring in a veteran, you have to bring in a guy that can step in, kind of someone that you could put in there to gain experience, like the failed Jarrett Stidham project. Like
wasn't failed. He never really got a chance.
Yeah, I think, no, but you can use a second or third round pick on a quarterback or trade. I don't know, but
or like if they're going to trade up,
draft a quarterback. I just don't see Mac Jones being a franchise quarterback in the NFL.
I think the NFL is moving away from Mac Jones style quarterbacks. So I don't think people see him as a way of being successful just because he's not mobile.
You could say that, but
like I've just heard, like when I've read about stuff, people think that the game's moving to so much more of a mobile game as far as quarterbacks, and the athletic quarterback can be more versatile.
We saw Brady just win a Super Bowl.
Oh, I know, but Brady's the best of his generation and of all time. It's kind of hard to say. Like when I was talking about Mac Jones earlier, I'm just saying that he would be, if the Patriots drafted him here, he'd be joining a team that's dealt with one of those quarterbacks for 20 years. That's been with a system quarterback that is a pocket passer, isn't mobile. I'm sure Mac Jones is more mobile than Brady, but it's just not a system quarterback. I'm saying they ran a system with a quarterback that was not mobile, who was a pocket passer. They came out wrong.
Yeah.
All right. I think if anywhere he would fit here. Just to learn. So
I think that pretty much just wraps it up. So, I mean, good. It was a good little conversation, boys. Good to have the OG trio back. Thank you to everyone listening and watching. Be sure to check us out on Instagram at offbeat_sports. Check out our new website, offbeatsports.net. We're going to be posting blog posts up there. We got a couple up there now. We have one of our guys just put out one about the QB situation in his top 3 guys. I just put out one about the Celtics trade option guys. Be sure to check that out.
Celtics is so bad.
We're not talking about that right now, but Voci put a lot of work into that website, did a good job with it. So, yeah, and we got a giveaway coming at 1250 followers, so be on the lookout for that. Thank you to Drink True and Celsius for bringing this episode to you guys. So see you, boys.
Yeah.